Okay, good afternoon, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matthew Crowther Townsend. I work for GHS in our London Central Head Office, and I'm just going to take you through a very quick presentation today on the TMC market and how you can work closer with it, with a special focus on the UK side of the market as well. So let's begin. If you have any questions, we'll have a Q&A section at the end for you to go through, and just please hold back on your questions until then, and I'll be available for calls afterwards if you want to do any follow-up following this as well. Okay, so the main agenda for today ultimately is to drive revenue into our member hotels, as I'm sure you're aware of, and today we're going to look at the consortium market segment, the difference between that and the TMC segment, and we're just very briefly going to touch on the corporate client side of things as well. Okay, so very quickly, I just wanted to go through and identify the differences between the consortia and TMCs, just so we're all very aware. And just here, you can see some key differentials between the two. This presentation will be available for you afterwards as well. Now, I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted here, and quite a lot of you understand this marketplace as well, but just to be very, very clear and the difference. So consortias tend to be groups of independent travel agencies who have all come together to effectively gain better buying power in the marketplace. And ultimately, this was done with, this started as an airline partnerships to buy better route deals as well. And now TMCs, or travel management companies, have now come on board as well to give full service. So travel management companies specialize in point-to-point sales involving all measures of transportation, be it car hire, airline, hotel booking, any other ground transportation as well. So just to give you some examples of some travel management companies, the largest ones there, which are available in every global region: BCD Travel, HRG, American Express, Global Business Travel, FCM, Carlton Wagonly, and then some smaller, more up-and-coming travel management companies: Travel Leaders, Radius, and Travel and Transport. And then just looking at consortia, so the likes of Frosh, CCRA, Hickory, Win, Travel Savers, they're all great examples of the consortia market. And we'll come on to a few of these as some examples of how we at GHS work with those and how we can improve the hotel's relationship with those, and what more actions we can do as a joint effort to help drive those markets for you. So yeah, just a couple of key facts for you. 60% of all GDS bookings come from a consortia or a travel management company. So this should be a highly, highly visible revenue stream into your hotel. And ultimately, the participating hotels who take part in these consortias, they return first on the GDS screens or their intranet screens or their online booking tools as well. So to coin a phrase, you've sort of got to be in it to win it. That's the aim of the game. Agents must book via the GDS to obtain these preferred rates. And these programs can increase your negotiated business. So, for example, if you have an account with somebody like Shell or BP and you've closed your corporate rate, you could still get bookings from that company on a consortia rate, because that's likely to be more open than the corporate negotiated rate. There are, of course, some regional variations on this. Certainly in Asia Pac, Latin America, and EMEA, they can be joint ventures. So they're not wholly owned by one individual stakeholder. They can be owned by a group of agents who, again, want better buying power and want to negotiate preferred deals as well. They mostly use proprietary point of sales tools. So if it's not a flat GDS screen, and I'll show you some examples of this, it could be an online booking tool internally where it returns all of your hotel information, which your hotel information can be pulled from a variety of sources. You might not even be aware that your hotel is featured. So, for example, CWT have just opened up a dedicated SME office in Leeds now in the UK. Office is purely to target businesses that £1 spend in terms of hotel booking year on year, and they're going to offer the CWT Hotel Consortia rate and the CWT Value rate. Now, the invite to each individual hotel to ask for imagery descriptions. They're going to be using Venue Directory and other online search tools to populate that information. All of these are up to date imagery, room counts. You want to present your hotel in the best possible way to stop giving them any other reasons for them not to participate in using your hotel. And the only other thing to measure is reporting and tracking. There may be differently regionally, which could enable contests or incentives. So, for example, the tax we have here in the UK is measured in some countries, it's not measured in other countries. So your rate parity might be slightly different, just based in different regions. So this is a question we typically get asked from the host. We want more consortia business, but ultimately, we as GHS, we need to understand what business and where do you want it from. Tools come into play. Agency 360, to give it its proper name, is a key information source for us as well. The more information you can share with us, the better. Be that from which agency, which hotel you think it's going into, idea of which account. So when we're going out into, we've got a better idea of what exactly your hotel needs. Shift 20 to 200. Arrivals reports are great information that we can use to build your business cases. So for example, if you've got somebody who's booked on a Carlson Wagoneer hotel program with consortia rate, if you could identify at checkout or check-in which company that guest works from, we're able then to follow up, present the business lead, and give you a better idea of what business we could bring to you. And it helps us build a better relationship and a business case with the travel manager to hopefully get you onto a negotiated hotel program. And existing accounts, very, very simple things. Making sure your rates are loaded correctly, which we can support you with at this typical time of year when rate loading is at a high. When we're into these offices, we can check on the agent screens whether your negotiated rates are returning properly, your descriptions are accurate, and if you're happy to make sure that you're being presented in the best possible way. Okay, a bit more detail for you and some examples. So we're just going to look at Win Travel. GHS hold a preferred partnership with Win Travel. This is what we count to be a key consortia. And the reason we think that is because where BCD, CWT, American Express have huge reach across the world, and every hotel has a membership with these programs, we believe we can work with the smaller consortias to help drive a slightly better return. So who are Win? They're covered over in 70 countries, encompassing 6,000 different travel agencies. They turned over 2.6 million room nights last year and have a 15 billion pound turnover, which equates to 470 million pounds worth of room revenue in 1 year they've turned over. So again, these are made up of over 6,000 individual travel agencies, and we'll go on to a few more bit more information about where they're situated. So obviously they're worldwide. They have a particular focus within Europe, and at GHS we have access into all of those offices to be able to go and promote your rates. So what I've done here is just highlighted a few of the key partners just across the world. So the Advantage Travel Partnership here in the UK. This is the largest group of travel agents and TMCs in the UK, with over 800 offices turning over $5.25 billion per year. So that's no small conglomerate of agencies. The Advantage Premium group of TMCs, they're on a slightly higher tier in terms of turnover within their business, and they include the likes of ATPI, Business Travel Direct, Chambers Travel, Key Travel, and Reed & Mackay, which we'll come back to. So, for example, some of the hotels in Europe I know have their own preferred deals with ATPI. What we can do here, we're able to access the London side of ATPI and promote your Win program. So ATPI appears at 60 rates. So this is a good way to go and present your hotel without having to go into a preferred deal where you're unaware of what the return is going to be. Asia Pac is a very growing market for Win. Travel agents are currently across 16 countries in 30 offices, and Australasia is certainly very much a growing market. Shore Travel, which covers most of South Africa as well. and with Schmeiterman in Germany, Central and Eastern Europe, which covers over 3,500 offices. So what makes Win different, and why should you work with them? Their predominant focus is on SME business. They have a higher than average spend as well. So every hotel is always chasing ADR. So this is one way to deliver that for you. They're not bound by any specific industry, and they cross-platform with every industry. They pay incentives back to the travel agencies for every Win booking made. And in the Advantage program, they pay $1 per room night booked. So there's an incentive both from the agent to book there, from both the hotel who pay them commission, and from Win, the consortium, who will pay them the kickback every year as well. And fundamentally, it's owned by its members. So decisions are made very quickly. There's a vested interest to make the whole process quick and flexible to work with. They work with a flexible discounted rate off bar. And currently there are 28,000 hotels that are bookable on the GDS on the Win rate code. There's the 3 rate codes there, but if anybody would like any more information about this, I'm happy to send it through to you. And for any properties that are in a more of a leisure or a lifestyle destination, they have a separate program that's based around a lifestyle and destination piece as well, where we're selling the experience and the destination, and the hotel sort of comes in second and fits into the whole mold. But again, if anybody has any questions or separately on that, we can go through that. New for 2015 is they've launched the MICE program. And every hotel would like to have more MICE and groups business as well, and we'd have noticed that. So we've become founder members of that, and we're working with them on how we can promote our member hotels into the Win agency, Win agencies across the world, and to generate more MICE business. The downside of this is the agencies are just learning about MICE business, because these agencies have predominantly always been transient agencies, and now they're looking to expand on this global reach. We have a whole marketing communications platform with them as well. And if any of your hotels have key stories or would like to promote anything, please let me know. We can build that into our marketing plan for next year. 3 events they hold throughout the year. Hotel Hero Conference, where they send 1 representative from each agency to meet the suppliers, which I tend to attend annually. Same for MICE as well. And their Travel Without Boundaries, their lifestyle conference, which is being held in March next year. That's focused on the lifestyle piece we've just been through. Then Advantage hold 3 separate conferences if you'd like to attend. One this year is on a cruise ship on board MSC Fantasia. This is aimed more at owners of travel agencies and key stakeholders in hotels and representation companies as well. Win hold their annual conference every year. I don't know the location of that this year. 2 years ago it was in Abu Dhabi, and last year it was in Singapore. We're not sure of the location this year. And a Focus Champions Conference is when hotels have the opportunity to come and meet the Win key agents, and we can then look at expanding that out to invite you guys who can come and meet those, as the destination for next year's conference is going to be in London. Okay, one more example, just very briefly before we go to questions. Reed & Mackay. So Reed & Mackay are a vastly growing travel management company who specialize in financial business, insurance, reinsurance, a little bit of oil and gas, and a little bit of law business. Their strategy for next year is to grow the media side of the business, which is why you can see a huge terms of growth there year on year, because they've become very reliant on a couple of key sectors, so they really want to expand their offering. I just put this on there. This is the online booking tool that Reed & Mackay uses. It's called IQ, and this is supported with a Traveller app and ViataQ, which is there's their agent-led platform. The reason I put this on there is just to talk about the value of agency visits year on year. With most travel management companies, they are now moving away from agent-led decisions to be made in terms of where a hotel gets booked or which airline gets booked, and they're putting that control within the means of the traveller. And what we're finding now is the sign up and the commitment we get at our showcases we hold each year are dwindling slightly as more travelers are moving onto these traveler apps. So I just wanted to reinforce the idea that having an online presence needs to be huge. It needs to be really focused on making sure your image is up to date, because this information will be pulled from a third-party website that you will probably not be aware that they're pulling. Again, if anybody's got any questions or concerns, I can go through with you with that later. And then Reeder Mackay's latest news, they've just opened an office in the US. It's opened on the in Philadelphia, and they aim to turn over $12 million in terms of revenue in the first year. And that's just using existing client base as well. They are a very high touch point agency, focused on high levels of service and product, but they are also very supportive of hotels who are new opening, want to work with them closely, and are happy just to work a bit smarter with them. I think gone are the days of going in and dropping in cookies and donuts to agencies, and they're now really looking to strike up a personal relationship, which we at JHS can assist you with. One of the things that does go out to all of our team, and I just wanted to touch on briefly, were fact sheet flyers on your hotels. And whilst this might seem a little bit mundane, we do find that these flyers are still very popular in certain regions where copy is still very much used. But the most important things here are clear client logos, some great imagery, some bullet points on the hotel, and some call to actions in terms of contact details or GDS codes. And again, the same thing here for you as well. So just to summarize, tips for success: working your local offices and agencies, offer an agent-friendly hotel, make it easy for the agents to book. Rewards always go down well with agencies, be that in incentives, and again, we could support you with that. Making sure your hotel displays and the booking tools are up to date. And join us on our roadshows and our sales trips just to see for yourself what the view is from the agencies themselves, have conversations, and just see how we promote your hotels. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take questions now or answer. We'll, of course, send this through. But if anybody has any questions, please, I'll open up the floor now. No questions. Okay. Well, this broadcast presentation will be sent out to you. It will be available to review via the link you've had. Thank you for your time, and please keep in contact and let us know how we can work with you better. Have a great rest of your day.